welcome to Montenegro, everyone. I hope you're doing fantastic. We are here in Sveti Stefan, or however you pronounce it, near Budva. And we're going to talk a little bit today about things in Montenegro, different opportunities, etc. So it's pretty easy to come here to get a residency permit, and they've also recently introduced a citizenship by investment program. So you can find out about information on our website, but I'll go through some of the high level here. You could also set up a company. You could also do banking here. That's probably the main things that you would want to do. And so let's talk a bit before I go into some of the other details about, why would you want to come to Montenegro at all? I mean, Montenegro is a pretty beautiful country, especially during the summer. It's mountainous, it's got the sea, the weather's really good. Supposedly Budva, where we are now, has more days of sunshine than Malaga, Spain, and the south of France, so that's kind of cool. It is not part of the EU, and that has pros and cons, I guess. So on the pro side, they're also not a part of the Common Reporting Standard and Automatic Exchange of Information. Some people like that. They like to not be exposed to this lack of privacy of their assets. So this is a perspective. On the flip side, you don't get visa-free access to Europe. You're not part of the EU setup, etc. So, it depends on personal preferences. Now, it's a pretty small country. Super small in terms of getting around, and there's only about 622,000 people or something living here. And so as a result, if you were to start a company, you don't have a lot of access to labor and talent, especially if you're talking about specialized labor, people like developers and skilled people in those fields. Now there's certain areas obviously locally that they have quite a few people here. They have a strong hospitality industry, and they've got a strong sailor industry, but for other specialized things, not so much. Wages are fairly low, not as low as Serbia or, let's see here, Bosnia, some of the surrounding countries, but still pretty low by most world standards. So that's also helpful. So let's see. If you wanted to come here and set up a company, quite easy to do so. The taxes are pretty good. It's flat 9% plus 1% municipal tax, so basically 10%, similar to what you would get in Bulgaria. Similar to what you would get in Hungary. However, personal taxes are also 9%, and they do not have CFC rules here, so that's also pretty useful. So you get as like somebody who wants to come and live here, as somebody who wants to start a company here, it's fairly attractive. It's quite cheap and quick to form a company. You can form a company in about a week, which is great. You can bank here, so you have mostly the banks here are European banks, which have local branches. It has been getting harder, as it has in much of the world, and fees are quite high. So be aware of that. When you're banking here, it's not like a world-class banking destination like something like Singapore. However, it is a place that you can take advantage of. It's not a part of the European Union or the EEA for payment processing purposes. And so the rates that you're going to pay, first of all, you're going to have a harder time getting, say, merchant accounts. And second of all, those merchant accounts are going to have higher fees. So be aware of that. If you're sending and receiving payments, you have a little more issues in terms of the reputation of the jurisdiction. So you may have more issues with whether they're going to go through. A couple banks here recently went under, Atlas Bank and Investa Bank. So again, is it a very safe banking jurisdiction? I wouldn't personally keep a massive amount of money here if it was me. Real estate you could invest in. There's quite a few opportunities. That being said, it's pretty expensive in a lot of the country. The citizenship by investment program that they have now, there's two areas you can invest. You can invest on the seaside in the southern part of Montenegro, which is certainly the nicer area. It's a minimum 450,000 euro investment. Or you could go in the north for a 250,000 euro investment. There's only, at this point in time as we're mentioning it, there's only one approved project. It's not just any project, you have to pick an approved one. It's a Westin Resort in the northern part. You can see for yourself whether you think it's worth it. I would say as pure real estate, it's not a very good deal. That being said, if you're talking about, you get the benefit of having a citizenship with it, okay, well that's, a lot better. And especially if you want to be there, you could of course rent the place out. It's part of a resort, so maybe it's something to consider. No, we've got nice traditional music here. Okay, so what else have we got that we can look at? You could get residence here. Now residency here, you basically don't have to spend any time, which is great for a bunch of people. It's a 5-year that you can renew. You have to renew every year for 5 years. Afterwards, you can get permanent residency, and if you did that twice, you can get citizenship. So the advantage, I think, of citizenship primarily is they're working hard to get into the EU. So if in 5 to 10 years they were to become members of the EU, now you'd have an EU passport. So that's also kind of appealing. It's not a super expensive program. You have an investment. Then there's also fees that are associated and fees that are going to be paid to the government. So you're going to end up losing, in terms of actual fees, 100 to 150,000 euros. And then plus you've got your investment. Now, in theory, you can get the investment back when you sell the asset. However, probably those prices are inflated, so you're not really sure whether you're going to get it back when you sell or not. So it's better ideally if you had a place to live. That being said, the best properties, in my opinion, to live in are not ones that are available for under the citizenship program. So those are a few things that you might consider. It's definitely worth coming and visiting for the summer. It's a great place to be in the summer. It's not very well connected though. You can fly into Tivat, which is a very small airport, Podgorica, which is also quite small, or else you fly to Dubrovnik in Croatia and you cross the border. It's super close, very straightforward and easy to get in. But even Dubrovnik is not very well connected. So overall, poorly connected for travel, a little bit similar to Georgia or Ukraine or something in that regard. Definitely not like, I don't know, Germany or Spain or Portugal. So those are a little bit of overviews. If you're interested in any of those things, you can reach out to us. We're happy to help you with setting up the companies, getting citizenship, getting residency, getting payment processing, doing banking here. And I will look forward to seeing you guys soon on the next video.